Accepting the 2008 Distinguished Alumnus Award on behalf of the Salazar family is Ruben Salazar's daughter, Lisa Salazar Johnson, who is here tonight with her husband, David. We're honored that both of you traveled from California to be with us on this very special evening. Lisa Salazar.
Thank you, Dr. Natalicio. When you're a 9-year-old girl, you haven't necessarily learned where your father graduated college. I know I did not. What I did know was I had a dad who dressed in a suit and tie, worked far away, and would come home after we had dinner, but before we went to bed. We knew he worked for the Los Angeles Times, and we knew he wrote articles. We would see his name in the paper, the byline. We seemed to know that he did important work. After all, he took many trips that took him far away to places like the Dominican Republic, Mexico City, Cuba, and Vietnam, where he would always send each of us postcards and bring back very special gifts of that country's culture. We remember the move to Mexico City, and it was a big deal. I remember how happy my parents were in Mexico City and how much he enjoyed covering the 1968 Olympics. I knew there was something very special about my dad, but I did not know where he graduated from college because I never got to ask him. And now I am standing on the very same campus my father stood so long ago, where his passion for journalism began. It's an honor to be here tonight accepting the Distinguished Alumni Award on behalf of my father, Ruben Salazar. Ruben Salazar was many things to many people: a husband, a son, a brother, a colleague, and a friend. To me, quite simply, he was my father. He was a terrific father. I'm glad to have my memories of trips to Disneyland and SeaWorld, family vacations to the beach, and even the simple outings to the neighborhood park. We had him for so little time. On August 29th, 1970, I was 9 years old. My sister Stephanie was 8, and our brother John was 5, when our father was suddenly taken away forever. Because of his own ambition and the encouragement of his parents, my dad became one of the few Mexican Americans to attend college. I wish I could have known more about his college days here at UTEP. I am lucky to have a snippet of family film that shows my dad in his cap and gown for the graduation ceremony of Texas Western College, now UTEP, back in 1954. After graduating from college, he went to work for the El Paso Herald-Post, where he provided readers with some fascinating reading, especially a short series of investigative reporting of the underground drug world here in this border city. He even had himself arrested on a phony drunk charge in order to experience conditions in the city jail. It was not pleasant, but it did prompt his editor to say that Ruben was the best reporter El Paso had ever seen. After the El Paso Herald-Post, he moved on to the Santa Rosa Press-Democrat, then the San Francisco News, followed by the Los Angeles Herald-Express, and then to the Los Angeles Times in 1959, where he succeeded in writing more award-winning articles. He stayed with the Times for 11 years before accepting a position with KMEX, Channel 34, as news director. He continued to write a weekly column for the Times. On August 29th, 1970, a Saturday, my dad left our home in Santa Ana to go to East Los Angeles to cover the National Chicano moratorium. He wanted to take my brother John with him, which says to me that he had no reason to believe this day would be anything but a peaceful one. My brother did not go with our dad that day. The demonstration was to protest the disproportionate numbers of Mexican Americans being killed in Vietnam. Late in the afternoon, after a long, hot day, my dad and his camera crew from KMEX stopped at a bar called the Silver Dollar Cafe. It was quite a distance from where the march had started, which was now the scene of a riot. For reasons I still don't understand, he was killed by a tear gas projectile fired to his head by a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy. The police claim they were called to the bar because of a report of a man with a gun. There was never any evidence of that. The violent death of the 42-year-old Mexican-American newsman, who was one of the first to break into mainstream news media, now became a martyr, when in fact he was not in any sense a movement follower. He reported the movement and articulated some of its aspirations and frustrations, but he was not a movement activist. He was a reporter, a journalist. In the past 38 years, since my devastating loss, I have begun to learn an amazing story of who my dad was. He was an award-winning journalist who has been honored in many ways, including the Robert F. Kennedy Journalism Award, several scholarships in his name, a library, books, parks, murals, and even 2 plays have depicted his life. And of course, the U.S. postal stamp issued this year. The recognition of the United States Postal Service honoring my father with a commemorative stamp is huge. It is so grand. Postmaster General John E. Potter told the LA Times, quote, "Salazar was a groundbreaker for Latinos in this country, but his work spoke to all Americans. By giving voice to those who didn't have one, Ruben Salazar worked to improve life for everybody. His reporting of the Latino experience in this country set a standard that's rarely met even today. I know that a U.S. postal stamp is something he would have never dreamed of, but being recipient of the Distinguished Alumni Award for his alma mater, one of the highest accolades given, is something he would have strived for. And have been very proud of accomplishing. He would have wanted UTEP to be proud of what he did after leaving this campus and being the trailblazing journalist he went on to be. He would be honored to be in the company of Dr. Rohak and Mr. Yetter. Congratulations to all of you. Thank you.